get it, you know I be on the way.
It's Wednesday night. Time for a hump day fight. 40 of iRacing's best in a carbon fiber slugfest. Esport aces, mechanical maniacs, over-the-wall weekend warriors, hometown track heroes, and even boys from the big leagues. Oh, we've got characters, all right. Strapped in the sim rig, poised to strike. We're set to battle it out each and every lap. So grab your popcorn. This is Thunderclap.
Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the way. Yeah. You know I be on the way. Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way.
Contact forward for the lead.
He blocks checker flag. James C. White 5.025 seconds.
It is going to be Ryan Truex.
I'm far ahead and gotta run last. But we ain't letting up, we never done that. Ain't nowhere to hide. You ain't gotta see me come and keep me on your mind. Cause I be on the way. Yeah.
They are wrecking just like that. Oh, a humongous impact.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on the way. Yeah. I'm on the way. I'm on the way. On the way.
It's taken 16 weeks for 16 drivers to nearly solidify themselves to see who becomes a postseason contender for the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated. But the pressure is on for many tonight because for some drivers, this is their last chance. After all, it's the Last Chance Square Dance presented by TLC Incorporated tonight from Nashville Superspeedway on iRacing from the Music City. Justin Prince, Brian Britt with you, Austin Derbyshire in the production seat as we get all set to go for what's expected to be an intriguing night here at this concrete oval. Just a few miles outside of Nashville in Lebanon, Tennessee tonight as we see which drivers move on to become the forming 16 for 2023, Brian, at this circuit.
Yeah, definitely a huge race right here. I mean, and a lot of guys that are really eligible to move on to these round of 16. It's definitely going to be fluid on how this kind of works throughout this race. I mean, 175 laps that these guys have to really decide this, and also the stages. Those give points as well, Justin. So I definitely expect this to be rough and rowdy. I mean, we saw how the race on Sunday with the actual NASCAR guys kind of went. I mean, that was 3 wide racing, and it was pretty crazy and hard to pass. I think it's going to be very much the same here tonight as well, of course, at this 1.33 mile track.
Keep in mind, a lot of temperatures to deal with, not just in terms of the pressure cooking situation tonight, but also the track conditions already above 90 degrees much of the way this evening. Those likely potentially to drop as the festivities proceed tonight here from Nashville Superspeedway. But as mentioned, the pressure is on for drivers with the playoffs. That in particular sees this situation where your top 12 drivers are locked in on points entering the night. Ryan Truex, not here tonight, was in line for the Cup Championship. He has 5 victories regardless. That's the top seed for the playoffs. Sean Bounty, the Xfinity Series champion, secured that last time out in second with 2 victories. Joe Jurassic in the same category. Then it's Chariot Woodward locked in with victories. Josh Ball is locked in via the Truck Series championship. In on points, John Freeman, Roger Diebold, Matt Garrett, as well as Mark McQuarrie, Scott Famosa, and Greg McConey. Now the bubble to watch for: Tyler Truex, Justin Clapper, solid on points, but Matthew Montgomery and Noah Rainwater looking to do well tonight in the stages to solidify their chances over Anthony Burleson and Greg Vidal. Chase Leahy, as well as Nicholas Tomlinson, as well as Bo Condon, Todd Lee, and Adam Schramm all have a chance, if they win tonight, to bump that driver in 16th position out of the playoffs, that being Rainwater coming into this evening.
Yeah, a whole lot could change here for sure. I mean, especially if a guy does win and knock a guy out. That's for sure. I mean, like you said, Rainwater could easily be knocked out. I mean, and Tyler Truex, even the guy that's, like you said, has pretty good points. I don't think he's necessarily safe. He's not locked in. I mean, so I think anything could happen here. I think there's going to be some guys that are going to be going home a little bit upset here tonight at Nashville.
Let's take a look at how qualifying has gone so far. And yes, 2 drivers within the same 100th of a second. Jordan Jurassic took to the board in qualifying. Matt Cherry, Roger Deebold, as well as Lee in 4. Famosa Garrett amongst the top 6 in the session. Lee is stepping up at the right time here with the Cup cars tonight.
Yeah, definitely for sure. TJ Lee, I mean, he's actually almost last in the points here, right next to Adam Schramm. So this is a big day. If he can do well here with this 4th place qualifying, this could be huge. This could maybe get him into the playoffs.
Indeed, drivers still have a few minutes to go until their qualifying session comes to a close. Drivers have been just informed that they will be cutting out the warm-up session of 5 minutes prior to tonight's race festivities as well. Keep in mind, in terms of your distances and points to think about, 25 and 40 your stages tonight under the lights. The race distance, 175. Now, keep in mind, it's not a simple one stopper in stage 3. It's a couple stopper at minimum. The fuel window up to 42, on average 36 laps tonight. You could even argue, even depending on how things play out, stage 2 could be iffy on gas, Brian.
Yeah, definitely could be. I mean, it really just depends. I mean, of course, the caution flag coming out for stage 1 should allow these guys to save enough. But since we do have just a couple more minutes, I knew we were going to be trying to talk to one of the guys. I think the perfect person to talk to would be TJ Lee. You want to try to grab him up here, Justin, and maybe talk to him? I think he's finished with qualifying.
Yes, indeed. And TJ Lee jumping into the broadcast booth. TJ, do you have a copy? TJ Lee, do you have a copy? TJ Lee just so happened to be the only driver to be left in the driver's meeting room, so I believe he's taken a break since he's finished qualifying here in this session. So we apologize on behalf of TJ Lee in that regard. But I will say this as well in regards to how things playing out tonight. Burleson's also in a position where he needs to score points and quickly tonight. He is 13th in the qualifying. He's been around that point so far this evening. Anthony Burleson, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Pressure is on you tonight. 27 points out. The first one outside looking in. How are you feeling tonight?
Pretty nervous considering the season I've had. It's been up and down. A couple good runs here, the last couple races, but definitely been caught up in my fair share of stuff this season. So, big thing is staying out of trouble.
Well, when it comes to Nashville, how's that preparation gone tonight? From what we've seen in practice, you have been around that middle of the pack in the team so far.
Yeah, that seems to be where I hang out most of the time, in the middle of the pack. Just keep my eye out for any incidents and, just keep the gas pedal down as hard as I can. See how she ends up.
And just looking at some of the clips from last season's race, a very attrition-filled racetrack here tonight. What's it going to take this season, though, to be able to get a clean finish, but also get the points you need to be able to bump out, say, a Noah Rainwater or a Matthew Montgomery out of the postseason?
Well, I'm going to need Noah to have a bad race, pretty much, because a 20-something point gap between us, and I'm going to have a pretty much flawless race. Probably definitely going to need a win. So, just going to keep my fingers crossed, see what happens, Just try to stay in it and stay out of trouble. That's my plan.
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Anthony Burleson, first one looking outside for the postseason as we get ready for tonight's festivities. Drivers have just been informed warm-up will be extended a small bit due to a technical issue for a fellow competitor before tonight's action. So we have a few more minutes in terms of some of those discussions to think about here. Brian, as well, you have to think about what the pressure's got to be like if you're in Noah Rainwater's shoes, because last time out, technical issues galore, no idea, in fact, how he would fare out. In fact, his expectations, he noted during the YouTube broadcast saying, I don't have any confidence in that. He's still around 17th. Only reason he finished 17th, late race cautions. He was up to the 10th spot with no forced feedback.
Yeah, that's got to be a tough thing. And if I'm not mistaken, he also was having a blinking issue too, from what I recall. So I mean, he was definitely having a rough rough go of it last week. But you know, he's out here, and you know, he made it through that. He weathered the storm. Of course, the storm's not over. He's still going to have to fight hard in order to you know, get it done here. He needs to do the best he can, because he's got guys like Anthony Burleson that are hungry. I mean, he's got guys like TJ Lee starting up in the top 5. I mean, he's got to really make sure that he hits his marks and keep someone that could possibly come up here and win, you know, that needs that win, that could take his spot away. And he's going to hope that he's going to have to be hoping and praying that it doesn't happen. It looks like warm-up is starting. Some guys are coming up onto the track to get a little bit of some practice in here at Nashville Superspeedway. Interesting racetrack, though, Justin. I mean, I've seen a lot of this track lately. And I'll tell you, it just blows my mind a little bit that this is called a super speedway. But I'll tell you, it is a lot of fun to watch. But it looks like the grid hit is looks like we're time for the starting grid there, Justin.
So just like that, the warm-up being called off there. So let's take a look at how drivers will fare for tonight's action from Nashville Superspeedway. George Jurassic starts on the pole tonight alongside Matt Sherry for Next Level Motorsports. Then it's Roger Diebold up in the 3rd spot alongside TJ Lee, one of the drivers who must win tonight. Speed Kings driver Scott Famosa in 5th, with Matt Garrett in the 6th position. Sean Downey, the Xfinity Series champion, in 7th, with Matthew Montgomery in 8th. Noah Rainwater on the bubble tonight for DNQ Racing in 9th, with Greg McConey in the Next Level Motorsports machine rounding out your top 10 this evening on the pylon.
Of course, 11th place, the 71 of Gosselin. 12th place, Mark McCrary. 13th, Anthony Burleson, who we talked to a little bit ago. 14th, the 81 of Dennis. 15th, Justin Clapper, another one of the guys that's really probably going to must. Well, no, he is actually above the cut line, so he'll be definitely hoping to get himself a good finish. 16th, Joshua Cohener. 17th, John Freeman, who's actually looking, I do believe, for the Cup title here tonight. 18th, Brandon Schumann. 19th, Damian Neeson. And, of course, rounding out this 20-car field is, I do believe, the 20 Newkirk. So definitely interested to see what these guys have in store. As I mentioned, some guys are going to be going for the Cup Championship. I mean, Freeman, with Ryan Truex not being here tonight, that's another talking point as well, Justin. We'll talk about a little bit later.
Yes, indeed. That's something to consider for the Cup Championship. Truex was in line for that entering the night. That changing as a result of Ryan Truex not able to take part in tonight's race. Josh Ball also a DNQ in terms of a DNS, should say, for tonight. So a pace lap to be able to get ourselves situated from Nashville Superspeedway. Tonight's action brought to you in part by TLC Incorporated, the premier service provider for lawn sprinklers, landscape lighting, drainage services, and garage makeovers with nearly 40 years of experience. In just one day, your home can become a showcase with a new water-saving lawn sprinkler system, an energy-efficient landscape lighting system, or a brand new garage makeover floor that will last you a lifetime. Imagine all the possibilities. Just give your yard a little TLC. Operating the Maryland and Virginia area, call 888-PIC-TLC for more information. So with that, stage 1 ending lap 25. As we get situated for tonight's race, what are your keys to victory here this evening?
I'd say patience. Patience and track position, I think, is going to be very big here at this racetrack. I'm not quite sure how tire wear is going to be, just considering I know open setup racing we've seen last week, tire wear was about half a second. Curious what the fixed setup's going to look like. Of course, it's very cool track temps, but I think patience is still going to be the key. It's going to be, a lot of these guys are going to be very close on pace, Justin.
Who do you think's got it is the question. After all, Jurassic, who won at Kansas a few weeks ago, is the pole sitter tonight.
Yeah, it's hard to get it back from him, too, because I know that I think he was the pole sitter at Kansas, and didn't he win that race as well?
Yes. Yes, he did. So we're just about all set to go as we head up to the TLC start zone. It's the Last Chance Square Dance presented by TLC Incorporated. Jurassic inside, Cherry outside. Green flag waits up at the stand. We're underway from Nashville.
Yeah, not as good of a restart there for TJ Lee. I think he didn't get up going as quick as I think he wanted to. But Jurassic up the track a little bit as Matt Sherry really taking some initiative here.
Cherry with a great launch, and Cherry already with 1 victory this season. Looking to back up the speed, he's been quick the past 3 weeks. Still side by side for the race lead. D-Board already cleared for 3rd spot. Jurassic, though, has the edge. Looks like it's Jurassic having to get into a drag race just to get the first lap led of the night. Cherry may have got it.
Almost a little bit of door banging there. These guys are already got their elbows out. This is a little bit worrisome here. As it looks like Cherry's not giving up. He is desperate. Oh, they're almost becoming one car here. I mean, these guys, you would expect this to be the last lap, but no, these guys are just fighting on lap 2.
A little bit of shades of what happened just over the past weekend at the real world racetrack. Already having to line up though as Cherry is going to the inside. Not able to get fully there. Now keep in mind, this is a bottom-dominated racetrack. If you are on that middle line, you can defend for a lengthy time, but your tires eventually will say, why did you go for too long there?
I'll tell you, look back here at in 12th place, John Freeman. This guy started in 17th, he's already up to 12th. Yeah, watch out. This guy is known for starting in the back and driving up to the front.
Now, you talked about Cup Series point standings. When it comes to the next-gen car, I should say, John Freeman, as a result of Ryan Truex not able to make tonight's race, moving unofficially to that lead. That being by 16 points over Matt Garrett. Steven Cherick, along with Greg McConey, also within decent range to be able to contend for those spots. Speaking of spots, McConey going for one. So a lot of potential back and forth in those positions. 9th spot going back and forth currently, McConey and Rainwater.
Yeah, I think McConey's just getting ready to get clear here. And he's now up to 9th. Going to now focus his way up there, I think, to Montgomery. Montgomery just made a pass, I think, on Matt Garrett.
Yeah, lots of shuffling amongst this pack. Famoso amongst those also looking to make a move. This is for 4th for Sean Bounty on the outside. And Bounty, keep in mind, has been stronger and stronger as the season's progressed. He's been really strong at the speedways. Just trying to make that outside groove work in that Toyota Camry.
Yeah, he's been strong everywhere we've ever gone. I mean, this guy seems like he is a championship. He's definitely in the top 4, I think, when it comes to championship hopefuls, when it comes to the overall title. I mean, he's been able to go door to door with everybody out here and then some. He's won a lot of races. I mean, he's the Xfinity champion. That's the hardest car to drive that we drive in this series, Justin. So if you're able to win a championship in the hardest car, you know that he's got some skill underneath that, behind that wheel.
Here's the downside in terms of fighting for so long. Guess who's closing in again? Lee had lost a little ground after losing 2 spots early. Now is looking to try and choose the right line to be able to see if he can take advantage of this.
Yeah, but here comes Montgomery. So it seems like, yeah, they're definitely somewhat of a bottleneck because of this battle between Formosa and Bounty. So about 6th on back, they're starting to get caught up. So it's almost like an accordion effect. Also, you see Matt Garrett. He's having to deal with McConey.
Oh, what's happening?
Looks like Jurassic. Something wrong with Jurassic. I think maybe a blinking issue, an error.
Yeah, Jurassic is off the circuit all of a sudden, and so is Schumann. What is going on? Same for Newkirk as they fall rapidly down the pylon. We stay green.
No.
Jurassic had been in the lead. It's now Cherry at the point.
Wow, that's a heartbreaker right there for Jurassic. Luckily, he's locked in, but still, I mean, a racer wants to win. It doesn't matter how locked in he is. He still wants to win.
Once again, we'll confirm if that was the driver we're waiting on for technical issues before tonight's warm-up session had been advanced forward. But amongst those advancing forward, too, is McCrary. McCrary, also strong when it comes to a lot of the short tracks this season, especially. This is a concrete track, and that can also bring some short track characteristics since it's not necessarily... Oh, my goodness, Goslin with the save.
I mean, he almost lost it twice there. I mean, went almost overcorrected it and made a huge mistake. That could have easily hurt some guys' race there. So we're going to take a look back, see exactly what happened here. I think he just got loose all on his own here. Oh, maybe a little bit of... I think he was trying to avoid the wall and overcorrected there.
99.5 5 out of 100 times, that's usually a crash to the outside wall on the overcorrect. Gosselin instead holding on to 14th position. Let's take a
Now
look.
take us back to John Freeman here. I hate to interrupt you there, Justin. Freeman started in 17th. This man's up in 8th. He just got by Greg McConey. This guy cannot be stopped. He is a juggernaut right now. Yellow
Caution.
flag is out.
Eagles Creations caution flag, and it's Goslin. 2 laps after saving. Oh my goodness, that is Schumann. And Newkirk coming in with no idea what was going on there.
Yeah, Gosselin's problems just got worse after we took the cameras off of him. As we take a look back, I think he might have got a little bit of help here with the 63. Yeah, the 63 of Clapper helps him out, throws him into the outside wall. Goodness gracious.
And then
Clapper just didn't have a lot of patience there.
Lets it roll across the racetrack into the Newkirk number 20.
Man, that was a violent crash, both parts of it.
Well, that was a showcase of the new damage model really being improved upon, but again, the boss man and the commissioner of the series, well...
When he wants to send you, he's going to send you. He licked the stamp and he just...
that's not licking the stamp and sending it, that's just bumping the quarter. I'm not sure about Newkirk, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Kyle Newkirk had just changed the paint scheme tonight to the theme of Buc-ee's. And apparently that is a thing. Yes, it is a thing. Here's what Newkirk saw in this sequence. Caution's out here. Oh,
yeah, he didn't really have a whole lot he could do there because, I mean, he saw he was up higher on the track and then he started rolling down. And you could see that Newkirk actually locked the brakes up. And when you do that, you have no control of your car. And I think that's exactly why Newkirk hit him, because he tried to lock the brakes up. It was a last-ditch, desperate move to avoid hitting Gosselin there.
Our first Eagleswood Creations caution flag is out. Eagleswood Creations is your one-stop shop for your laser engraving needs, from wood to acrylic, custom signs, earrings, keychains, coasters, and much, much more. Located in West Creek, New Jersey, but shipping nationwide. The items can be purchased and custom-made via Etsy or through the website eagleswoodcreations.com. Follow them today on Etsy, Facebook, and at Eagleswood Creations on Instagram. No pit stops as to be expected here in Stage 1 still. More than 10 laps to go in this first stage. Cherry now with a great chance. Cherry's been quick for the past month especially, and now has the clean air to try and run away in that very different paint scheme look tonight.
Ooh, some beef jerky. That sounds good.
I know he mentioned about a week or two ago he picked up a care package as well from SRI Performance, who sponsored a race earlier this season and also sponsored his car and as the primary much of the season so far.
Yeah, I mean, with the way he's been performing here lately, I'm telling you, I mean, he deserves it. He deserves it. I mean, he's going to get a lot of eyes on him. I mean, I've seen this guy for a couple years in other leagues, and he really has always been fast, but not necessarily this fast. I think he really has come into his own here lately.
Worker full-time that has experience building race car bodies. It's part of the Next Level Motorsports on the virtual side, real-world side with the chassis experience. So it's Depot at Famosa, Boundy, Montgomery, Garrett amongst your top 6 spots, Lee and Freeman amongst row 4, McConey, Rainwater, row 5. TLC restart zone. Looking at the speed for Cherry, having to keep it at 55. There he goes. But a good timing for the outside for the green flag.
Yeah, Matt Cherry definitely pretty good at the restarts. Here comes Scott Formosa. He's going to try to take advantage of Devold here. Devold kind of all by himself a little bit higher on the track. Oh, Formosa getting a little bit tight out of 2. That was close.
One of the best runs for Formosa of the season, keep in mind. Also still trying to make things work on the bottom side of the racetrack.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, Formosa is locked in, but barely.
Yes, indeed. The 11th seed currently in the playoffs, for those curious. Just ahead of Greg McConey, as that's nearly to the door of the Ford.
You can tell this is bringing Bounty right into this, and it looks like I think Debo thought better of it. He's like, I'm just going to let this guy go because every time we go side by side, it just slows us down. And now he's just going to try to stay single file. And now you see Bounty now being challenged and pressured by Matt Garrett.
Garrett, remember, amongst those who is looking for some solid runs to end up this season. Keep in mind when it comes to Garrett, he is also locked in points, but has a chance at the Cup Series championship. So a chance to build some momentum before that forming 16 in 2 weeks' time.
And he's been consistent. I mean, he's definitely been very, very consistent. He's been able to match guys like Ryan Truex, but I mean, hasn't necessarily been one of those guys that's been able to get wins, and I think that's the major thing. I think that he's really going to be motivated to try to get there as he moves up to 3rd place now.
17 cars still running for those curious. Famosa may have just had a tech issue too. So we're down to 16 cars running.
Oh, man.
That's why Famosa's time is showing that close, but no longer on the track. So Diebold holds on to 2nd with no one around with our 2nd technical issue driver tonight.
That is a heartbreaker. I mean, what is going on tonight? Like, that is just terrible to see that. I mean, these guys having, luckily he's locked in, but still, I mean, racing, that's a heartbreaker. Even if you're locked in, you still want to be able to compete.
Coming up to 6 laps
He's
to go.
actually back out now. He's 1 lap down, though, but he did lose a lap.
Oh my goodness, I think it's what I think it is. He blinked out for a full lap, which
Yep.
can happen on iRacing. You don't realize it. Then all of a sudden you rejoin. Guess what? You're 30 seconds behind the rest of the field. The downside is he's a lap down. The bright side is you can get the lucky dog in about 6.5 laps time, make it 5.5 laps.
That's true. I mean, this is not the worst thing that could happen. The worst case scenario was what happened to Racing. I mean, he got completely booted. But, Matt Cherry's still out here in control. He's got about a 4/10 of a second lead right now on Diebold. And because Formosa is in between him and Diebold now, this is kind of a good thing for Cherry. He's got a little bit of backup right now. Someone to keep them, keep them at bay, if you will.
Indeed, and keep in mind, most of the only person a lap down, 1 lap down should say, Newkirk is 6 down. So this, even if anything flares up here, most got at least a negative positive at least in this regard. Still freight training around the bottom of the racetrack. A little contact with the wall. Diebold having to dunk around. Famosa with a scrape.
This is very interesting looking at this. I mean, it's so hard to judge these guys' speed right now on this racetrack. Because, I mean, you see Matt Cherry, he's going up and down in lap times. Last time by was a 30.4. This time by a 30.2. It's up and down. I'm kind of curious on why that is. Maybe these guys, maybe that's just kind of the way this track is. But I do notice that John Freeman and Montgomery's actually showing very impressive speed right now. This is probably the fastest track I've probably seen him at. I'm curious if he's burning his tires up. But I'm telling you, Montgomery looking really good at the moment.
Bounty nearly rubbing the numbers off the side of Garrett's car with 2.5 laps to go on the stage. Bounty trying to ride the bottom. Now it's Montgomery jumping up top side. Coming off a top 10 from Worldwide Technology Raceway. Nowhere to go is Freeman. Now under attack still by Bounty this time.
Yeah, Freeman, like I said before, started in 17th, up to 4th now. And, it's not an easy feat to get by Sean Bounty. But here comes Montgomery to the inside of Bounty. Going to see if he can't work his way up to the top 5 to get one more stage point here as we come to the white flag for stage 1.
Coming up to the final lap in stage 1 indeed, presented by RL Productions. Montgomery looking to battle for at least a stage point. Bounty on the outside still, side by side with Greg McConey in the popcorn seat. All of this is while Cherry is running about nearly a 10th quicker than Diebold up at the front. Montgomery hits the apron and nearly into Bounty's door.
Yeah, it's like this is the last lap. I mean, it is the last lap of the stage, but they're driving like it's the last lap of the race. You can tell Montgomery's desperate. But here comes McConey. That desperation might not pay off as McConey might even steal the point away.
Checker flag getting ready to wave. Green, white, checkered, in fact, Cherry, Diebold, Garrett, Freeman, Boundy holding off a drag race between Montgomery and McConey. As that brings out the Eagleswood Creations caution flag, your stage 1 winner, car 67, Matt Cherry. Building momentum, heading to the postseason with his strongest run since that one win earlier this season. We'll take a break. When we come back, more coverage here on Grid Vision. You're watching the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated.
SRI Performance. With over 400 product lines representing the top manufacturers in motorsports, we are your one-stop shop for everything racing. 3 of our brick-and-mortar stores are located in North Carolina, and our newest facility in Brownsburg, Indiana. And 4 trackside mobile stores, you can find us spread out throughout the nation. With industry-leading knowledge, we are only a phone call away to visit our customer service experts. And don't forget, we have the world's largest inventory of used race parts. SRI Performance, and stock car steel and aluminum for everything racing.
Hey, Bob Carr here at TLC. Take a look at some of the specials we're running at TLC right now. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Storms are in the forecast, so if you have a problem with water standing in your yard, in your basement, now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to provide you with a free, no-obligation drainage proposal for your property. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 or hit the link below. We'll respond back to your email, set you up for a free, no-obligation quote for your drainage needs. Let's solve that once and for all. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the perfect time to have your landscape lighting system tuned up for the upcoming summer months. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. And let's get you some light out there. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's take it down to the booth and get updated.
Welcome back to the Last Chance Square Dance, presented by TLC Incorporated. Here at Grid Vision, Justin Brents, Brian Britt, Austin Darbyshire in the production suite as we look to see who can have a sweet time and a strategy-filled second stage. Now keep in mind, this stage only about 10 laps of green flag racing expected here. That's in turn why some drivers have elected to pit, but many more have stayed out. Garrett, Freeman, Boundy, McConey of note who stay out. Famosa got the lucky dog, but other drivers electing to come down and pick up fresh tires here. So, now it's the question, how does this play out? Diebold and Cherry 13th and 14th for the restart.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea for those guys to come down pit road, grab a fresh set of tires. I mean, fall off wasn't too great, but I think it's going to allow those guys to have a little bit more maneuverability. This is going to be a big test to see. I mean, those guys are all the way back now. Diebold, of course, back in 13th. I mean, that's quite a ways back. So, I don't know. We'll see if it pays off. Track position is pretty important here, Justin.
Other drivers who are in that sequence of taking tires as well, Schumann and Corner. The rest of the field getting ready for the one to go this time around. As we get all set to go for Stage 2, remind you tonight's action brought to you in part by RL Productions, a Baltimore-based national video marketing agency specializing in video marketing solutions and commercial advertising. RL Productions offers custom brand strategies tailored to your company or organization's unique goals with in-house level attention to detail. RL Productions also offers complete international event solutions for your conference and convention needs with both on-ground and live stream production capabilities. Visit rlproductioncrew.com to turn your expectations into real-life productions. Now it's going to be the interesting mark, though, too. You have 4 drivers basically on much fresher tires than the rest of the field here. The thing is, in the past, that's usually led to calamity on the restarts. It's going to be interesting here, what we see here for the TLC restart zone then.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I mean, could we see some wheel spin? I mean, concrete tracks are notorious for wheel spin.
We've seen how difficult it is to catch a slide or even a side spin in these next-gen machines this season. TLC restart zone, Garrett and Freeman, 1 and 2. Green flag is out, back underway. A clean restart, no major tire spin. And now it's the matter of how things play out in the battle forming up for second. Bounty inside, McConey as well looking down below Freeman.
Yeah, really good restart there for Matt Garrett. Here comes Bounty. Really good start there for him. Able to get past Freeman. I know Freeman and him were battling for quite a bit in that last stage. Here comes Bounty. Huge run up to the back end of the 3.
Looking to try and pounce. Garrett looking for some more points to be able to build up some potential seed advantages for the postseason. Nowhere to go really to make the pass yet.
I'm looking back here towards the new tire guys. Diebold, of course, has been under fire a little bit from Matt Garrett. But these guys haven't really been making their way up through the field like we kind of thought they would. We'll have to keep an eye on it, though.
But you did mention the tire difference in terms of laps. Not significant. That was a little bit of a near contact with Clapper. About a car length difference still, but Diebold making it clear he wants to go with how loose he was off the corner to get there.
Yeah, Clapper definitely seems like his tires are screaming at him. As Diebold's able to make that pass. Looks like Cherry's able to get by as well. But yeah, you're right. I mean, fall off has not been significant. Usually you go to a concrete track. That is the main storyline, is how much the fall off is. You go to a track like Dover, you tell me fall off isn't important. But, you know, apparently this track is a little different.
That's even vastly different compared to past years when you think about it, Brian, because at a track like this, they used to be around that average that we've seen in most circuits, 2.5 seconds. Now tonight, it's more around, as you said, around that half a second mark, which is very intriguing with the next-gen machine. Remember, this is one of the first times on concrete since the new build a couple weeks ago for these drivers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious what the real-life fall-off was looking like. I really didn't see, you know, but definitely the battle's starting to heat up a little bit in the top 3. You see Freeman's been putting some pressure here on Bounty. Definitely excited to see what he's going to be able to do.
Still varying things out early on, coming to 5 laps to go on the stage. A very quick burst. For reference, Diebold is looking for 9th on Noah Rainwater in the SRI machine. Cherry as well looking to follow suit. That's Burleson who's up on the outside as well in the 79, looking to get in line and see if he can pass Rainwater.
Yeah, last time Bob Burleson was very much off the pace, 30.8 second lap, and he did it again. So I think he's starting to really struggle. We talked to him a little bit. He is in pretty much a must-win situation, even though he is right there on the cut line there for Noah Rainwater. He even said it himself. We're separated by 20 points. I need to almost win this race.
It's been that type of a season in terms of some of the difficulties. Indeed, we'll have to keep an eye on how this plays out the rest of the way once we get to stage 3 and where multiple pit stops come into mind.
Looking at the lead.
Bounty wants a stage point. Garrett wants to hold on to try and get the stage victory. Coming at 3 laps to go.
Tell you, this stage flew by. I love how interesting that is. We get a 25-lap run in the beginning, and then we go for a 15-lap run. I mean, definitely keeps these guys on their toes. As we see, I do believe Montgomery and McCrary also battling for that 5th place position.
Oh, we've got a change up at the top of the pylon. Garrett and Bounty are going back and forth for the lead. Bounty inside. Garrett on the outside. Freeman in the popcorn spot. No dice. Coming at 2 to go.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where even though you can go side by side, it's really a one-groove track. I mean, you want to use the whole thing. You want to be able to arc the corners, and when Bounty's trying to pass him on the bottom, he's not able to get the gas pedal all the way down because he's afraid he's going to come up there and hit the 3. And this is bringing Freeman right back into the picture. Freeman closes in massively on the 35 here.
Got any points, some defense. No major run, though. Garrett looking to set sail in the clean air, coming to the white flag this time. Coming up to 1 to go in stage 2. Some RL Productions. Garrett looking for the stage W. Look for the back end as he takes that one to go for the stage.
And taking a look back here as well at that Matt Cherry, Diebold, they really didn't make that much of, I'd say, kind of a push. Diebold's only up to 9th. I think they started 12th in that stage, or at the beginning of the stage. So that's kind of interesting. A lot of these guys are going to be writing that down on their notes, I'll tell you that.
Green and white checkered getting ready at the stand. A poke to the inside for the 3rd spot. But in the end, it's Garrett who picks up the stage victory. Bounty, Freeman, Oconee, McCrary, Montgomery amongst your top runners for the Eagleswood Creations caution flag. Amongst those also picking up stage points, Dennis, Lee, Diebold, and Rainwater. Diebold the only of those who took tires in stage 1 to pick up stage points.
But yeah, good on Rainwater, though, because, he needs a good finish, and, of course, he had the technical difficulties last week, so this is exactly what he needs to continue to stay above that cut line.
That quick stage break. We come back, we'll talk about how things play out for stage 3, fuel differences and strategy differences right after this here on Grid Vision.
Eagleswood Creations, your one-stop shop for wood, acrylic, custom engravings, such as signs, boards, earrings, and much, much more. You can follow them today on Facebook, Instagram, or you can check out their website, eagleswoodcreations.com.
Hey homeowners, you're going to drag your hose through the yard in 2023? There's a better way to water your lawn. TLC Incorporated has been installing custom and professional underground lawn sprinkler systems for over 38 years. Our team would be happy to come out to your property at your convenience and provide you with a free, no obligation quote for a new custom underground lawn sprinkler system for your home. No more dragging the hose. No more dry and dusty patches in your yard. Our smart lawn sprinkler systems will efficiently provide water to your lawn all season long with a healthy green grass from your front yard to your back. Click the blue Learn More button below, and the team at TLC can start building the perfect lawn sprinkler system for your home right away. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's throw it back to the guys in the middle.
Welcome back to Grid Vision. As we get all set for stage 3, pit stops complete, and from what it looks like, just about everybody came down. So the drivers who took a gamble on tires didn't really have the gamble play out as they thought, because they still came down that stage. Now keep in mind, drivers tonight, just a grand total of about 4 tire changes available tonight. So they've lost their buffer tire sets for those who pit at the end of stage 1. As we get all set to go for stage 3, just received a bulletin involving Jordan Jurassic. We talked about that situation that we had a driver with a technical issue before the start of tonight's race. It is confirmed that it was Jurassic. A power flicker had turned off the internet connection for Jurassic, and after reconnecting from the race lead, had a disconnection that in turn cost the number 6 machine chance in this race. As he said in comments just watching along with the broadcast with us tonight, it was heartbreaking. So,
yeah, I guess so. I do want to also update a little bit of something I just noticed. Of course, Nail Rainwater finished 10th in stage 2. He's in 17th, 2 laps down right now.
oh, he's more than that. He's pitting in the pits and then some. Something has happened to Rainwater.
He's been there for over 3 minutes.
I don't think even getting a couple stage points is going to be the big enough buffer he might. I wonder if he's thinking because there's only 20 cars in the field, he might think he's going to be safe.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, this is a bold move. I mean, this could be exactly what Burleson needs here.
So, coming up to about a 120 lap run to close out the race. Make it 130 once we get back rolling here this time around. Keep in mind, fuel could be interesting. And by the way, it's not a chosen strategy. We just got confirmation from Rainwater. It was the I did a money shift variety under caution.
Oh no, he blew an engine?
With a money shift under caution.
Gonna cost him some money.
Well, it is a virtual car, so there's that bright side.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yep, just got the confirmation he blew up while downshifting. Coming up to the TLC restart zone, Garrett, Freeman, Bounty, McConey. Top 4. Green flag is out, back underway. Garrett looking to run away. Bounty looking to the inside already.
Yeah, and look at Greg McConey pretty much bump drafting the 5 of Freeman. He says, you're not going quick enough. I'm going to hit you in the rear end. Look at Bounty go.
Oh, and look at all the scattering on the side-by-side. A couple drivers nearly knocked the wall down. Diebold being knocked up the track nearly.
Yeah, definitely. These guys are I think the gloves are starting to come off now. This is when the race really begins. You know, we talked about fuel window. That's also going to be something we're going to talk about a lot here. About 40 laps is about as far as they can make it, so I think we're going to see a lot of green flag stops if these guys keep it clean. As Formosa gets incredibly close to Diebold. Diebold's just a punching bag here today.
Oh, some contact in the background. We stay green, though, as drivers gather it up down the back straightaway.
No, it's Clapper.
Clapper indeed clapping the wall on down as things continue to spar it up at the front. McCrary looking to battle underneath McConey. Same now being sent for Cherry, who wants his lead back.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We saw Matt Cherry, Diebold, those guys make that odd strategy call to take tires that didn't work out for him. I mean, Matt Cherry, he's got his work cut out for him here. He's got guys that are side by side right in front of him.
And for those still wondering, yes, Garrett is on the track. He is not in the pit lane for the race lead. He's not a wizard like Dr. Professor Wizard, who's in 14th, by the way. But as we work around towards lap 50 here, it's the question mark. How are things going to play out long run speed? We've seen those trends throughout the season go that direction. Here's the look at the time differences on speed right now. Oh, and a big block last time by. Drivers in the 30.2s. McCrary blocking to the inside of the 3 to hold off Cherry for 5th.
Yeah, a lot of speed from Freeman. He was the fastest on the track last time, but yeah, this is definitely a kind of a bottleneck right here between McCrary and McConey. These guys have been side by side for quite a while, for a few laps now. And you can tell Matt Cherry's desperate to try to get this pass completed to get by both of these guys. You got Montgomery also in the mix as well. So this is a bad situation that I think could end up resulting in possibly an incident if these guys lose patience.
Now it's a question mark, though. At the same time, what can you do in terms of that? Because we're seeing Montgomery saying, I'm going to the outside, even in the midst of the fact you don't usually go to the outside to make a pass there, and there goes McCrory from the 88 car to the grass.
And he just went for a ride. And you saw how much they were holding each other up there. I mean, Diebold showed up out of nowhere. He closed in. He was like 5 car lengths back.
Oh, and this is trouble. McCrary sliding to the inside. Keep it off the wall. No.
Just a little hit, though. That wasn't too bad. Could have been a whole lot worse. It could have been like Ryan Blaney on Sunday. That was a big hit.
Let's not talk about that controversy today. But McCrary was battling intensely for fourth spot.
Oh, right here.
Up the apron to start it off, and then it got worse on the exit.
Yep. Just unloaded him, you know, kind of unsettled the car by touching that apron exactly. And I don't think Matt Cherry was doing him any favors either. He was all over the back of him.
Battle was on for second, meanwhile. Freeman from 17th, now looking for second. Not able to make the pass yet for the 5 machine. Again, Freeman in position to win the Cup Series championship.
And Matt Garrett just driving away because of this. He's got a half a second lead right now. Of course, Boundy and Freeman, they got about a second lead over McConaughey, who's in 4th right now.
Lee's doing well tonight. Give him a shot in the 46. Burleson holding on. And there goes more trouble. It's Dennis off the nose of the 46 of Lee. Dennis lines to the grass. Darren Dennis keeps it green in the green and black machine.
Man, we're seeing a whole lot of, oh! Clapper almost came up and drilled him.
Let's take a look here. We'll see what happened in the Clapper part of the replay. This is what caused the spin. He was going around either way.
Yeah, he was just loose, and I think that Lee just finished him off, yeah.
And
a lot of guys having some hard times just keeping the cars underneath them. This is a tough track. A lot of people don't think, you know, you see super speedway in the name, you don't think that'd be a tough track, but this track is pretty technical.
So the top 3 are absolutely flying away from the pack. McConaughey nearly 2 seconds back, but Cherry starting to equalize, if not surpass some of the times with the leaders. Downside, dirty air.
Yeah, this is a track where dirty air is a big deal. I mean, it could really hurt you quite a bit, and I think Cherry's definitely dealing with that. But I think he's going to overcome it. I mean, he's catching up quickly to McConaughey. But look at the recovery from Formosa here. I mean, this guy blinked out for a whole lap, went a lap down, got his lap back, and now is back up into 6th. Definitely a great recovery there for that 80 machine.
Yeah, Formosa, remember, had a technical issue, lost grip of the track for a good lap. In terms of that, I mean, he didn't know he was not being seen and scored by the race sim, and still kept on going, and still picked up the lucky dog. Formosa still has race-winning speed tonight, keep in mind, with how things are playing out tonight in that 80 machine.
Oh, yeah. I mean, last time by, he was the fastest car on the track. 30.155. He's sitting right behind Cherry. He's like, let's go, Cherry.
Not bad for somebody who is known to be an owner of a used car lot. On top of his tow truck sponsor. Still looking to find a different line. And that's the different thing about Nashville, too, is it's not as simple as how you attack a mile and a half because of how that turn 4 wall can catch you off.
Yeah, I mean, this place has about the lap time of a mile and a half, but it's a 1.33 mile racetrack. I mean, I think it behaves more like a short track than anything else. You know, it takes a lot of technical know-how, I'd say, to get around this place. And these guys really are showing off that they know what they're doing when it comes to getting around this place. But the top 3, I think they're almost in a class of their own. You gotta feel like Matt Cherry and Formosa are probably starting to get frustrated with Greg McConaughey here, because you see the top 3 are just steadily driving away, and these guys feel like they got the same speed as that top 3, but they're not able to really get up there and stay in touch with them. As you see Matt Cherry, he's searching. He is like, please, I have got to get around McConaughey, but McConaughey keeps taking their lines away. Here comes Formosa, going to try to possibly get to the inside. Not able to get there.
Still sparring out amongst this fight. Now getting ready to start off lap 61. And I will touch upon some of the history too with Nashville. Keep in mind, this track only got back on the circuit in 2021, Brian. And again, this is a track that was abandoned for 10 years. If you think back to the discussions when they were thinking of new circuits before the rotation of tracks was locked in for about 6-7 years. It was either Kentucky or Nashville Superspeedway. We got Kentucky and Nashville Superspeedway for until 2020 had nothing really solidified in terms of operation, in terms of even an owner, until it was bought in June of last year.
No, I'm
Or
glad this track has
2020,
made.
rather.
I'm glad this track has made it. Had it to revival. I mean, it's been some fantastic racing. I mean, I think the racing on last Sunday was some of the best racing we've seen this season. I mean, they were 3 wide, racing hard. I mean, they were able to make every groove work. You love to see that. I mean, that we need more racing like that in the NASCAR Cup Series, and I think that these guys are definitely having some of the same racing here tonight.
And the interesting thing is, originally the plan was demolish the racetrack, build warehouses.
Really?
Yeah, that kind of changed with its return to the schedule, of course, for 2021, and eventually becoming an SMI track at the end of that year, you have to remember. There is still technically now some warehouses down the back straightaway if you look towards some of the grouping of this track. But this is a track that, in turn, for at least the next few years, seems to have solidified its future to be able to be on the schedule because of its vicinity to Nashville. Now, that's up for grabs, though, you have to remember, though, with the fairgrounds.
Yeah, for sure. And I know a lot of people would argue they want to see that those fairgrounds make a return to NASCAR here, for sure. I'm looking at a lot of the interesting. I think, yep, someone down pit road. I think that was only a Newkirk there, possibly. But I am watching here. Diebold, last time by, he was the fastest car on the racetrack. I think he's got the long run kind of down pat right now. Looking at him, he's really closing in quite quickly up here to Montgomery. Last time by, he was a 30.193. That is 0.2 or more faster than everybody else right now. Watch out for that 38. I think he has figured something out.
There's a look at some of the time deltas for reference. You can see Montgomery picked up some time last time and this past time by, but it's been Diebold who has been the quicker of the two drivers on average the past 5. Downside for Diebold, he needs to catch up 3.5 seconds later.
Yeah, that's a long way to go.
It's going to be a full race strategy need, as Famosa now under attack by Montgomery.
And a lot of these guys might even have some interesting strategies when it comes to saving time. Oh, Formosa into the wall a little bit there. This is going to allow Montgomery to maybe have the edge he needs to get by. But you see Diebold, he's right there. He doesn't want to be held up here, but I'm really curious to see how this. I think this has all the hallmarks of a green race, and I think we could see strategy really play out. Like, oh, here we go, 3 wide, possibly, almost. Diebold, I think Diebold thought better of it.
Montgomery, though, able to get the best out of that. Famosa nearly got the worst end of it. Diebold jumps up a spot. So again, Montgomery, when it comes to this season, started off red hot, got close to victory early on, actually did really well at Las Vegas. Remember, he was the driver who lost in the drag race to James Seawright. Here's the thing, James Seawright, due to attendance, did not get himself a postseason spot solidified. So if that finish was very much different, we'd be talking about Montgomery already locked in.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, I'm kind of trying to do a little bit of math here to figure out exactly how many stops these guys are going to be required if it goes green from here. I mean, of course, we talked about 40 laps is the fuel window.
Well, put it this way, we started off with about 130 lap green flag run. That may be a 3-stop race. Here's the tough part. Third stop, if you go to the end of the fuel window, is right at 10 to go. Do you even come down at 10 to go? Likely not. We might see drivers have to pit soon and split the race up in thirds, you'd think. How would you, Farah, break it down?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, I think that I don't know, right now tire fall off is actually a little bit more substantial than I thought it was going to be. We talked about a half a second. It's actually verging on 0.8 or so right now for a lot of drivers. Yeah, I think the best call would be to kind of split it up. Don't really run it out of gas. Kind of split it up the best you can and try to equalize it. Maybe have a little bit of less wear on your tires at the end. You know, maybe 20-lap run to the end. I don't know. It's just going to be an interesting. I think there's a lot of wiggle room, and I think we're going to see a whole lot of different strategies here, Justin.
100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. 100%. Already seen this with some of the drivers falling off the back of the main pack, falling significantly for some. 16 seconds back for Clapper. He was running up about a couple seconds back at the early going of this run. Diebold, for reference, has picked up 4/10 compared to the leader in the past 10 laps. Now it's the matter of having a battle with Cherry, though, his strategy mate earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, look at like guys like Neeson, Burleson. I mean, Burleson, we talked to him before. He didn't seem very confident, but look at how, man, 31.4. That is way off the pace. As I think we just saw Matt Cherry, I think, just lost a spot to Diebold.
Yep. Yes, indeed, and Diebold's the quickest car on the track. He just picked up 2/10 by making a pass.
Yeah, you talked about he had to make up 3 seconds. I think he's going to do it.
McConey now trying to play some defense. That cost him the time right back. What did we say? Diebold stronger on the long run. He is flying and fast the second he gets clean air in this car right now tonight.
Yeah, and that's going to be big. I mean, we still have a long way to go here. I mean, still over 100 laps. This is going to add up. If he continues to be this quick on the long runs, he's going to have a good shot at winning this race if he just continues to do what he's doing here.
You can already just see the difference with McConey and Diebold. That was 3/10 picked up from turn 1 and 2 exit to the back straightaway just about.
Yeah, all he had to do was get in front of him.
Yeah, so for Matt Garrett, meanwhile, still holding off Bounty, but how long does this last now? Because as you can see, Bounty is quicker down the straights, but it's Garrett who's slightly quicker in the corners.
Yeah, I mean, last time by, Garrett was about 2/10 faster, or slower, I should say, than Bounty. So I think Bounty's going to be trying to battle here in a second.
Thing is, though, you see how that interval changes up. It seems like Bounty starts to wind it up with that pull, a little bit of a draft effect, but the second he lifts off, it's Garrett who goes a little bit deeper, and it's almost like he can't close the deficit. See it right there, for example, near dead even for the last time into the corner entry. A little bit deeper with the send for Garrett. That picks him up in about 1/10 of a second of a buffer by the corner exit.
And what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing Bounty, the closer he gets to Garrett, I think the dirty air is really starting to impact him. You know, the less grip he's got. Of course, this is, I think, a low downforce package these guys are riding here today.
Yep. And that's important to consider here, too. It's not like the Speedway package for the 1.5 miles, where you have that extra bit of downforce on that spoiler. You have to work with the low downforce. Montgomery slides up near him into McConey's door for 6th.
Yeah, big battle going on right now here between McConey and oh man, Montgomery's definitely wanting to try to play bumper cars out here, it seems like, and this is just bringing Formosa into the picture as well. But Montgomery's been looking strong today. I mean, he's been looking really, really good, and I don't think he wants to let this opportunity go to waste. I mean, he looks like he's got a good finish ahead of him, and I think he's just getting a little bit frustrated with not being able to get by these guys as quick as he thinks he should be able to.
Coach Matt looking to draw up the play of making a pass. He is a basketball coach after all. So now it's the interesting part tonight. It seems as though you get to the bottom, it's been a better spot. But again, it's just been so tricky to make a pass fully because of that defensive line in the middle. How, in your races here, you felt it's best to try and get that edge over that defensive line to be able to make the full rotation work, to make the pass?
I don't know, man. You're asking the wrong guy. I mean, I think that it's all about...
So you're one of those who hopes for the better tires, and that's the best.
Yeah, I mean, just try to save the tire and wait for that guy to make a mistake. I think that's really your only hope around a track like this. I mean, you just try to rotate the best you can and do a little trail braking to keep the car low and to try to get the best exit you can. But it's difficult. It takes a lot of skill, and I think that it's only one. You know, a position is won here by the guy that's patient, I do believe. Somebody's driving through the grass here, the 81 of Dennis.
Dennis? trying to slow it down and now picks it back up. No caution. We stay green. Let's take a look. This was on his own, running about 14th position. Whoa, what was that?
Yeah, that was weird. Looks like, I mean, I would expect something like that, locking your brakes up going into the corner, but he was coming out of the corner and locked the brakes up.
That has to be a technical issue. You can see how he's pumping the brakes, trying to get it unlocked almost.
Yeah, maybe it was definitely a technical issue with his pedals.
It's either that or he blew a tire. But how would you blow a tire? We're about 30, 40 laps into a run. Let's look. This should be a good chance here. Oh, yeah, tech. That's absolute tech. He's lucky he didn't blow the engine.
I don't think that had anything to do with the pedals either. I think that was his wheel just all of a sudden went to the right. All of a sudden.
Yep, that's the universal sign of your wheel is disconnected from the sim.
Man, that's unfortunate. We've had a lot of technical difficulties tonight. It's a heartbreaker.
Dennis at least coming back on the racetrack 2 laps down. You see him on the apron, in fact, trying to coast it around and get things sorted. Still, though, D-Bolt's ascension up to this pack of cars has slowed down a decent bit. It's equalized to about 2.2 seconds back for the time being. Boundy has become draft locked. Not able to close up with the dirty air more than this gap of half a second.
Yeah, and tire wear has been significant here. Like when you said something about, blown tire, that could happen. I mean, we're seeing over a second of fall off right now, and I only thought we were going to fall off a half a second, so I was wrong. But these guys are going to be pitting here soon. They're going to get them a fresh set of shoes very, very soon. But this seems like it's quite a difficult place to pit at, Justin. Do you have any experience pitting at a place like this?
Well, at a place like this, that's the interesting part. You don't have to use the access road per se, believe, but you see how sharp that banking difference is, Brian. I'm not sure about your experiences, but you hit that wrong, you're spinning the car out on pit entry here.
Well, yeah, and especially how, a concrete track usually wears your tires out pretty significantly, and when you're having to lay on the brakes and the banking change, those two variables together, that definitely could be a problem. I do believe we're seeing Damian Neeson down pit road.
Yep.
Maybe Matt Cherry. Yeah, Matt Cherry, I think, is coming down as well.
Yep, and Garrett all of a sudden is shuffling down the pylon. Let's take a look at the replays.
Yeah, I think pit stops here.
Or at least back to live action, should rather say, as we are underway for service with Cherry, in fact, in the pit lane. Apologies there. Freeman also in. Not sure what happened to Garrett because we were just seeing him on the track now. He's indeed out of the pit boxes.
Yeah, looks like D-Bold, though, has cycled, or is out into the lead. Looks like he's going to stay out a little bit longer, as I think Formosa is coming down pit road as well, possibly here. But here comes D-Bold. I think he's coming down this time by, so he's going to stay out 1 lap later. That could add up. If we have to do 3 green flag pit stops, that could add up if he stays out 1 lap later each run.
Formosa Montgomery also coming in. Montgomery tried to go to the outside. You see in the backdrop. Query and Corner, the last of those need to pit on this strategy window. So just like that, first scheduled pit stops going well. Corner, the only driver not pitting there. And Corner, keep in mind, has been running towards the back much of the day, but has kept it clean under the lights here tonight in the 16 machine.
Yeah, I haven't talked a lot about that driver. Of course, not really, I don't think, in the running for the playoffs here. But definitely looking to lead some laps, see what he can do out here in this 16. I think he's going to be forced to come down pit road here very shortly, though, no matter what. And it looks like as everybody cycles back out, I think Matt Garrett's going to end up having the potential lead here.
Garrett right now has the net advantage by about 1.1 seconds. D-Bolt has shuffled back to net 4th. Corner still yet to come down for the scheduled service. Abonsto's also picking up some spots in that pit sequence. Formosa to 8th, net 7th. Schumann net 9th on the racetrack for the time being, depending on where Corner cycles through.
You got to keep in mind, I feel like Garrett has not won a race yet this season. This has got to be, the pressure has got to be mounting for this driver right now. I mean, he has got to be hoping and praying that nothing goes wrong, that he doesn't make a mistake on pit road. Because, I mean, it's right in his hands. If he does everything perfect from here, I think he's got it. I mean, he's been, gotten top 3 finishes, gotten top 5 finishes all season long, but he has not tasted victory yet. Can he do it tonight, Justin?
That's the question, as Corner nearly wrecks it, going to pit road to close out the first pit stops under green of the night. That should cycle Garrett indeed to the race lead. So the New Jersey-based driver for Tyler Truex Racing back to the point.
Yeah, of course, Tyler Truex and Ryan Truex both not here tonight, so they gotta, all of their hopes and prayers are resting on this 3 machine. Of course, Sean Bounty, not any slouch. He's not just gonna let Matt Garrett drive away. Same thing with Freeman and Diebold. The top 5 all deserve to be where they are. I mean, Matt Cherry won stage 1. Of course, I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, Bounty won Matt Garrett won stage 2. So we got a lot of guys up here in the top 5 that are definitely deserving to be there, and they just want to fight for this win. And I think they're all very close on pace. But something significant could happen. I think it's all going to come down to luck in a lot of ways here, or Matt Garrett, if he could just be consistent. Lap traffic's also going to come into play. I think it's actually starting to come into play very shortly as well.
Taking a look at Schumann, was amongst those with some early troubles in the 52, but so far so solid the second part of the race, really the third stage. Schumann, keep in mind, one of those with experience working in particular on the 52 truck, that Stuart Friesen's machine, as we talked about, did really well on the dirt side, remember. This Schumann, also known as Crossfire, keeping out of most of the cross-firing attacks tonight.
Yeah, and we don't really talk a lot about you. That usually is a good thing, just because you haven't done anything really too terribly wrong there. And he's definitely, up in the top 10, 9th place, not a bad day. Of course, I think he's going to need a much better finish here. I think, is he even in the running? I don't believe he really is in the running for the playoffs.
He's currently amongst those who was in a position of races contended in to be able to compete, but not points-wise. 26th and above, should say, and the points at least got you a chance, depending on how many starts you had, to lock yourself into with the chance to compete for the playoffs. You had to be in the top 26 in eligibility. Freeman, by the way, this run, really not able to close up yet to Bounty. Still nearly 2 seconds back. In fact, more than 2 seconds now.
And you talk about that top 26. I want to take us back to the first race that we called, here. Of course, whenever we first started calling these races here in the Thunderclap iRacing series, we saw people like 60 people, Justin, trying to make it, into one race. They had to have, heats and things like that, and, you had to qualify in the top 40, I do believe. So, I mean, these guys that are trying to get into these playoffs, they have had to fight and claw their way and have really earned it. I mean, they truly have earned it. I mean, going against some of the best of the best, real-life racers, crews, and guys on iRacing. I mean, they've been having to fight and claw. You love to see it. Now we're only down to 20 cars in this series. You could just tell there's been a lot of attrition since the season started.
And don't forget some of those who started off the season strong, but could not compete on the full-time schedule. Garrett Pick, for example, 1 win in his 3 starts earlier this year. Seawright had 10 starts in the regular season, had a victory, in fact, for that Las Vegas drag race. Could not compete in the postseason, though, because he's missed the past final races of the regular season. So it's now the matter, though, of those who are running the full schedule to try and make sure they get forward. And after all, you have to make sure you don't knock over the wall.
You definitely do not want to do that. I do believe Burleson's getting ready to go a lap down here. Or he actually has already gone a lap down by Matt Garrett there. But, yeah, a little bit of a right rear damage. And here comes Bounty. Now, this could be big. Of course, Bounty's about 1.2 seconds back from Garrett. Depending on how quickly he gets around, this could actually build that gap even more. And I think it actually is. 1.3 seconds now.
He lost 2/10 actually from the dirty air effect of the lap traffic.
Yeah.
Make it 3/10 in fact by the time the pass is done, but again, that's the normal ebbs and flows of a race. The difficult part again is when you reach the carts the wrong spot at the wrong time.
Say, this is about the perfect scenario for Matt Garrett, but you got to keep in mind it could all go away as we're now on lap 100, coming up to 75 laps to go here.
So about a 2-stop race for those just tuning in. You're on Grid Vision, Thundercloud iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated. This is the last dance and the last chance for drivers to square dance their way into the forming 16. Matt Garrett still holding on to the race lead, looking to try and break through for the first time in his career in Thunderclap competition. It's a big sequence for the 3 machine because he's 3rd all-time in active starts, but has never won a race. The only other driver in that category of 90-plus starts yet to win a race, Anthony Burleson.
Yeah, I think this is his best chance. This is his best chance to get this win. And, I mean, he's out-driving some of the best the best. I wouldn't say some of the best. He is out-driving the best in the Thunderclap iRacing Series right now. I mean, Sean Boundy is not a slouch. This guy's the Xfinity champion. Freeman, we always talk about how good he is on the longer runs. Diebold, king of the long run, as we see, I do believe Justin Clapper lost a spot. I think we're looking back here at Burleson, and that's Freeman there trying to get by Burleson.
And Burleson going way up to the top of the racetrack to be able to let by the 5 of Freeman. But still, that's a lot of time you have to consider over the years of not breaking on through. 259 laps led coming into tonight for Garrett. 14,107 miles before tonight's race. But now here's the thing. Strategy needs to be executed, but even more important, getting through those next 4 cars, all grouped within about a second and a half, going to be important to be able to build a lead.
Yeah, you wonder, all these opportunities. I mean, he's been in this position before. I know Matt Garrett, he's been in this spot before. So what has went wrong in those previous times? Was it was it bad luck? Was it mindset? Because I know myself, Justin, I don't know how you are, but I know if I'm in the lead of a race, a big race like this that has so many talented guys in it, a lot of times I start getting in my own head that, am I good enough? I start to make mistakes. I lose focus. A lot of times that can happen here when you're in the lead of like I said, when you got such high competition level.
Yes, indeed. By the way, we've had a driver rejoin the race. Noah Rainwater has raindropped the new engine into the 05.
62 laps down.
Still in the race. That's the bright side for Rainwater. After all, you're able to have a very nice looking paint scheme on the car. Those are some very interesting reflections, I'll just say that though, on the car.
Great looking car. And it does speak a lot to determination and persistence to come back out here.
I can't tell what it's reflecting up to, but it's almost like a helicopter viewpoint of the racetrack.
Yeah, that is weird, isn't it?
It's reflecting the aerial view from this, by the way, for those curious. For those who are very eagle-eyed, like that eagle-eye camera.
Come on, iRacing, get it together. What?
So, still 2 seconds to go. Up is Garrett over Bounty, by the way.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Our producer says that the reflection used to be Daytona at every track. So that's why I said what.
It is the World Center of Racing, after all, so I'll just go on that point, and you can make the assumption where that leads to. Freeman, though, is amongst those now in a tightly contested pack. He's closed up a bit on Bounty, but Devo has closed up a bit more than that on both of them.
Yeah, definitely. The race for second, third, and fourth is starting to heat up. You know what I'm quite surprised of? is Matt Cherry. I mean, he's been kind of a loser here. He's in the 5th. I mean, not a bad day for him, but he's 5 seconds back from Diebold. Man, I don't know what went wrong in the 60 with the 67.
Hitting at the end of stage 1, possibly?
Yeah, I think those guys. I mean, but Diebold did the same thing though, Justin, and he's up there, right there in 4th, right behind Freeman.
But if he didn't pit, he'd be the leader.
That's true.
Still, we're approaching that second critical pit stop window. And at this mark, you see how things are breaking down stint-wise for reference. We're about halfway through this respective stint. Execution has to be there because you cannot afford to speed. Let's put it that way, under green flag conditions here. It could end your night.
Yeah, and I think when these guys, if they ran the fuel out for this run here, they would actually have 50 laps to go, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be really close on gas. Some guys might be able to save enough to have that little bit of a different strategy.
And here's my question mark. I'm curious on if anybody is, amongst those trying to get to the 42, you estimate, at the top of the window, trying to save it to get to, say, a 43, because that 1 lap difference could get you in. Montgomery, though, is going off kilter on the strategy. Here he goes.
This is interesting. See, this is it's a little bit outside of the box. And I'm looking at guys like Matt Garrett, too. He's slowing down. I don't know if it's got something to do with the driver in front of him, the 05. I feel like Garrett's actually trying to save gas.
I mean, do you blame him with how tight the window is? Here's the onboard. Take a listen. It's nothing with the clutch, but there is a little bit more of a roll, I'm noticing. That is a driver and fresher tires in front.
Well, I mean, you look at Sean Bounty last time, or that lap, Bounty was about a half a second quicker than Garrett. I mean, this is making this very, very different here. I think Garrett is trying to save fuel. I think he's maybe doing a 1 lap kind of normal pace, and then the next lap kind of save, you know. I think Freeman's saving too, because Freeman's last time by was a 31 flat, so I think we're seeing a lot of saving. Or maybe it could be that, I mean, Diebold just did get by Freeman, so this is interesting. I don't know what to make of this, to be honest with you.
Throw into the ring to Cherry because he's lost nearly 2/10 to Greg McConey in the past couple laps, 2 for 5th spot. So a few different cycles building up.
Could that explain Cherry? Why he was so far back? That could explain that.
Well, keep in mind, one of the best winning moves in a race, right, is being able to take 1 less pit stop in some circumstances. Because guess what? If you pit, you're likely going to have to close 40, 50 seconds back up at least around the racetrack.
Oh, yeah.
Fresher tires, yes, can propel, but as we've seen, fresh tires don't really matter as much, surprisingly, for the first time really on the iRacing side.
I mean, they matter, but not enough to make up, like you said, 50 seconds. That's too much to try to make up. So I think it's all going to be about who saves the best here.
What is going on with Garrett? That is Clapper right in front of the leader, holding to the bottom of the racetrack. The battle is on for second, but the leader, Garrett, having to bump away the lap car of Clapper.
Oh, Clapper's not going to like that. Garrett just straight up just tried to punch him out the way. Wow.
I don't know what to say other than battle for second now, having to deal with that.
Yeah, this is that was interesting there, to say the least. I mean, I could see why Garrett would be a little bit maybe upset. I mean, it did affect his lap time quite a bit. I mean, he was about a 4/10 off of what he was usually hitting. As you see, of course, I do believe Clapper did kind of relinquish position to 2nd and 3rd here, but he does fall right in front of, I do believe, 4th, who is Freeman.
Yes, indeed. That's a little dicey. Expect the space likely to be given here into the corner. If Freeman gets it, no. Oh, now Freeman having to check up out of the corner exit. What in the world?
Yeah, I think a lot of these leaders are getting a little bit frustrated. They're like, "Hey, man, you're holding me up. You could be taking my chance away to win this race." But I mean, that's the thing about it, though. Everybody, he doesn't have to move. It's your responsibility to get around him. I mean, at least. But I mean, it's just a matter, I think, of just being kind of friendly and just get out of the way.
They're running the charge for Freeman. He's now lost a second trying to get around Clapper. So the JCR machine having to stay back, and now at this point almost looking like he's just saying, okay, you know what, I'm going to use you as a saving tool.
Yeah, I think he's going to lose his patience just like everybody else has. I mean, Matt Garrett. And this is definitely helping out drivers like McConaughey. As, of course, Diebold's now all over Sean Bounty. Now, keep in mind, Diebold pitted as a lap later that last pit stop. Now, he'll be able to go a little bit further. I think he might even try to go 2 laps this time. And that could be a way of saving a little bit, to not have to save quite as much.
Yeah, remember, Diebold was 3.5 seconds back at least 20 laps ago.
Yeah.
That's how consistent that Nitro Circus Live paint scheme has been tonight. He's done this before, as we mentioned earlier on, and right now, Dirty 8 looking to see what can be done here. No major progression since closing the gap, though, in the Dirty Air. Freeman finally gets a onside Clapper, though, to be able to pass by that lap car. Pit stop open for McConaughey. Also coming in, a lap car. That's Goslin. No, that's in fact Neeson coming in, right in front.
Yeah, I think on last pit sequence, Neeson was the one that kicked it off. So that's not surprising there for the 24, but definitely interesting for McConaughey. Told you, man, this is going to be a lot of different strategies here for a lot of different drivers. A lot of guys trying multiple different things. You see the graphic on our screen. It's going to be a lot of different thoughts and strategies here amongst these teams.
+5 for your top 2 for reference, +13 for Freeman throughout the race tonight. Just about right at their expected lap times. Coming to 50 to go. There they go. Boundy and Garrett in. Diebold stretching the lap fuel a little bit further once more.
See, I thought Garrett and Boundy would stay out a little bit longer. I'm surprised. I thought they were going to try to stretch it a little bit, and I thought they were saving. So maybe they weren't. I don't know. This is confusing. I'm telling you what. I got to break out the calculator because I don't think they're going to make it. I don't think
there's no way.
Garrett...
There's no way they're making it 50 laps in a 40-lap fuel window. Diebold pushing a little bit further to get to 50 to go, though, and some lead laps. So now, I think it becomes the bigger question for those respective teams. When do you take the final stop knowing you can't make it to the end? 25, 30, 35? Do you push it to the end of the fuel hoping for a caution?
I don't think we're going to see a caution. We haven't really had a... Oh, man, Garrett. Wow. Matt Garrett almost went into the grass on the pit exit there trying to hold off Boundy. They were racing off of pit road.
We might have to take a look at that. Garrett's actually lost a spot just now to Boundy for the net advantage. Where are you looking, Brian?
I'm watching Boundy and Garrett almost getting into each other. We probably need to watch back about 30 seconds to a minute and see exactly. They were racing off of pit road. It was quite exciting, and they're still racing right now.
Do you blame Garrett? He's looking for his first win in 91+ starts. Here's what you were seeing this whole time. Standard 4-tire pit stop, right? Here's the thing, look how in sync they are. That is a major gain on the lane for Bounty to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, they were racing. As soon as they hit that exit there, they started, I mean, look at Garrett. You could tell he was trying to hold as much speed as he could. He went a little bit wide, almost went into the grass here. And look at this, though. Bounty had backed it up a little bit, was able to get a better run off of back onto the racetrack. And this is what switched the positions here. This could spell Bounty winning this race.
That would be a major, major heartbreak for Garrett. That one slide opening up the run. Keep an eye on that as the cycle progresses. Diebold, though, is in a really good spot because he's able to get now nearly up to +6 compared to his competitors on gas.
Yeah, he's 41 laps in this run, coming up to 42. Of course, we have, I do believe, coming up to 46 laps left. I still think it's going to be very difficult for him to stretch that.
Newman coming in this time by, so that leaves only Diebold, Freeman, Famosa, McCrary amongst those yet to peel on down the pit lane on the lead lap. This might be Diebold's race now, especially because he does this again on the final run. Look at the difference, already a lap and a half up. Here he goes for the scheduled stop on the cycle.
I'd watch Freeman too, because I think Freeman is saving gas. Freeman last time by was a 31.5, and I think that's on purpose. I don't think he's burning his tires up. I think he's doing this on purpose to save just a hair more gas. Look at that, 31.7. He is saving.
He needs to get another 3 laps on the gas. He might have to save a ton. Same for Diebold, as just said. You can see the lap differences around 31.7s towards some of those running 30 flats who have already taken service. You see Diebold in the pit lane with the 4 tires.
Yeah, I think this is either Freeman or Diebold's race to lose here. I mean, just if they can make it, I think they'll win. One of those two are going to win. Because I think, we already pretty much got established this as a fact that Bounty and Garrett are not going to make it, as Garrett's really trying to make something happen on the 35. You can see the desperation for that 3 machine to take that lead back, or what would be the net lead.
Nearly 2 seconds quicker than the current leader last time by. Here comes Garrett for the net lead, though. These are the 3-stop strategy leaders. Garrett on the charge, hits the apron. Bounty with a lot of space, though, allows Garrett to still make the pass as they reach some of the drivers out of the pit lane. And the confirmation is in. If Diebold does the strategy again, same for Freeman, they likely can make it. To make those drivers your drivers likely to watch for the race win. We're now in the green light for the window next time by if anything was to happen from here.
Yeah, now looking at Freeman, he waited a little bit longer, was trying to save a little bit more gas. He's now back to 7th. He has McConey, Montgomery, and Cherry in between him and Diebold. So I think Diebold is the most likely to win this race right now if he can make it on fuel. This is going to be... You love to see strategies like this. I mean, I don't think Diebold's won yet this season either. I mean, we talked about him being king of the long run, but races usually just don't seem to pan out for Roger.
No wins this season, but again, Diebold's been close. When it came to the race at Atlanta with this car tomorrow, 2nd place run. 2nd at Richmond. Also had a 3rd place in that truck race at Las Vegas earlier this season.
So always 2nd.
It's been 2nd or 3rd a lot of times. This is a meanwhile. Look through some of the layers of traffic. Clapper, this is not for position with Lee. Lee not having the best of runs, needing a win tonight after starting with the great qualifying run.
That's right. He started in 4th, and unfortunately, he is now 2 laps down. Now, keep in mind, we keep talking about Diebold being the most likely to win this race. That is if the green flag stays out. If a yellow comes out, that changes absolutely everything.
Don't speak into existence. Now,
keep saying it could happen.
I mean, here is something to consider. Last time at this track at Nashville Superspeedway, it was a 152-lapper last September. Guess who won the race?
Who's that?
Roger Diebold. That was his last win in the series.
Oh, man, what a win this would be to get. So he seems like he's very good at this track. No wonder.
Still, though, as we take a look at where he is in the traffic, you can already see what the lap times currently 2/10 off on the save. McCody and Cherry are doing the same thing, but they aren't on his same cycle. Freeman, if anything, is starting to pick up a little bit because he's nowhere near D-Bolt on the track, or not close enough per se, in case it becomes a drag race between which fuel tank makes it.
Yeah, I mean, you see Freeman, he's catching up to Cherry. He's got about 1.2 seconds to get up there. He just got by Montgomery not too long ago. So, yeah, I mean, Freeman's got a really good chance of making it to the end. It just, I mean, Debo could run out of gas crossing the line. This is going to be really, really close. I think Freeman has the best chance to make it. It looks like we got the 16 of Coroner going down pit road here.
Remember, Coroner was amongst those who pushed it to the very end of the fuel window the first stops. Pushed it even further than anybody else combined here in this run. Still taking a look at the current race leaders, though. Garrett, looking to hope that he has the right destiny go his direction here. Coming up already in this race to about 35 to go next time by the stripe.
I think Garrett and Sean Bounty are probably hoping some type of caution comes out. As we look at a replay, something must have happened here. This must have been the pass that actually got Garrett back to the lead.
Yes, remember this happening a little while ago. There's also been a fair bit of scuffling amongst these two in terms of the pace. Remember, there was that near contact for this lead. That could have played things much differently about 10, 15 laps ago.
Oh, yeah. Definitely could have changed everything. You could just tell, I'm telling you, Garrett was desperate. He was desperate. He's like, he's came so close to winning races so many times, he's like, I can't let this one get away. But I think that it still might get away. I think he's on the wrong strategy right now.
So as we reach the final stretch of tonight's action here on Grid Vision, we're going to take a side-by-side as we make our way to the checkered flag. The final pit stop strategies looking to solidify themselves out. After all, it's the Last Chance Square Dance presented by TLC Incorporated.
SRI Performance. With over 400 product lines representing the top manufacturers in motorsports, we are your one-stop shop for everything racing. 3 of our brick-and-mortar stores are located in North Carolina, and our newest facility in Brownsburg, Indiana. And 4 trackside mobile stores, you can find us spread out throughout the nation. With industry-leading knowledge, we are only a phone call away to visit our customer service experts. And don't forget, we have the world's largest inventory of used race parts. SRI Performance, and stock car steel and aluminum for everything racing.
Hey, Bob Carr here at TLC. Take a look at some of the specials we're running at TLC right now. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Storms are in the forecast, so if you have a problem with water standing in your yard, in your basement, now's the time to give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. We'll be glad to provide you with a free, no-obligation drainage proposal for your property. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342 or hit the link below. We'll respond back to your email, set you up for a free, no-obligation quote for your drainage needs. Let's solve that once and for all. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Now's the perfect time to have your landscape lighting system tuned up for the upcoming summer months. Give us a call here at the office at 410-721-2342. And let's get you some light out there. Hey, Bob Carr here with TLC. Hope you guys are enjoying this race. Let's take it down to the booth and get updated on what's going on.
Welcome back to tonight's action of the Thundercloud iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated, which includes custom services for lawn sprinkler systems, landscape and outdoor lighting systems, as well as for drainage solutions for flooded and wet backyards, and for custom garage floors and makeovers. For more information, call 888-PIC-TLC. Lap 147 and 175 make it lap 148 as we make our way past the stripe. It's the intrigue of which strategy comes out on top now to watch for. The two stoppers versus the three stoppers. Depot leads the way for the two stoppers. Garrett leads the way for the three stoppers. And what's been a very green flag run heavy stage 3 so far. Keep in mind, things are getting a little bit dicey right behind Depot, so keep in mind a lot can still happen.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on. You see a 0.5 of Noah Rainwater right there putting pressure on McConey. And I think Debo kind of is saving as well at the same time, but he doesn't really want to get, I think, marred in this this grouping.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on how this fares out with how things are going with the traffic. And again, remember, Rainwater technical issues, or rather, having a crash in a money shift under caution, which seeing him have to get a new engine. So just trying to get whatever points he can to make sure he is in the forming 16 for sure. Frustrating if you're McConey, though.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Because, I mean, McConey trying to catch up there to Debo, but McConey is in kind of a bad situation to begin with. He's got about 27 laps, I think, on his equipment here. He is not going to make it on fuel here. So he's going to end up having to come down pit road pretty soon, I would assume, as I do believe he's actually starting to get pressured as well from John Freeman there in the 5 machine. Of course, John Freeman does have the ability to make it on gas. We talked about how far he was from Debo. That's no longer the case. Freeman is pretty close now.
I was going to say, we noticed it before the side-by-side that he was starting to become a little bit quicker by a tenth or so.
Montgomery into the outside wall here, right in front of the leader, side-by-side for the lead.
And that has opened up the door for Bounty. Freeman closing up the D-board. Now it's Bounty looking inside for Garrett as a result of lap traffic troubles. Bounty not able to complete the pass yet as Garrett tries to defend on the outside.
Man, Montgomery had the wall pretty hard. I'm surprised that didn't end up with a caution there.
Right, didn't collect the leaders there.
Yeah. Wow, look at that, Garrett. He is so desperate. You love to see it. That guy is driving the wheels off of that race car, man. Wow.
It's not done yet, though, for the battle for third. Depot and Freeman are now battling near alongside. Here goes Freeman for the net advantage on the two stoppers.
This is for, I think, the race for the win. I think this race for third. Freeman, of course, has a little bit more gas here. Unless they start racing hard again and the caution comes out, that'd be the only way. But wow, this has gotten exciting. I'll tell you what, this has been a great race here tonight.
Let's take a look at some replays, or a replay, should say. Here's a look at how things fared, and this is what you've seen with Montgomery that really sparked trouble.
Oh, wow. I saw the last part of it. I didn't see that. Oh, wow.
Let's look one more time from the chopper. A little bit of up, a little bit of down.
Yeah, for sure. I think Garrett was just desperate to try to get around Montgomery as quick as he could there, and they met in the middle. Looks like Garrett's actually on pit road at the moment.
So Garrett has elected to come down 10 laps earlier than expected for the end of the window, so this is his call. How does Bounty respond? The undercut now in Freeman's hands. Bounty not responding yet.
Bounty's responding by saving. I'll tell you, that's how he's responding. 31.8 last time by. He's trying to save gas. 31.3 that time by. He's saving gas. He's about 0.8 slower than D-Bold right now.
But he'd have to save a absurd amount of gas, remember.
Yeah.
We're talking about somehow finding about 6 to 10 laps here.
There's no way. He can't do it. It's impossible. And even if he did manage to do it, the way he's slowing down so much, Diebold is going to catch him no matter what.
It's to the point where those who are on the two stoppers indeed are flying. Freeman has lost a ton of time to Diebold all of a sudden. And it's almost a question, are they trying to almost bait each other to force each other to run out at this rate?
Could very well be. I mean, I think Freeman maybe is looking at the telemetry, the fuel, and he's thinking, maybe I can't make it. Maybe I ought to back off and save a little bit here. I think that might be what Freeman's thinking.
And now Diebold's backed it up. Yeah, so it's almost a cat and mouse game now that's formed up. Look at how much Diebold's now losing on entry.
Oh, wow, 31-4 last time by. This is so odd. These guys are trying to save gas so much right now. They are playing cat and mouse. I like that. I think that they really are.
Going he's in. Bounty still stretching the gas. Remember, that is what you have to keep an eye on. That blue bubble for the pit stop window is about currently 34-ish. That's still going to be a very tough order to even make it to the number he needs to make it to for 17 more laps. He'd have to be having the longest run of the race on gas.
Yeah, he better have some gas in his pockets or something they could throw into the tank. But I think Freeman's got the advantage here. We're talking about this cat and mouse game. You see Diebold, he's backing off, and Freeman just keeps pushing him forward. And it's like, you know, because Freeman, we got to keep in mind, Freeman pitted a couple laps after Diebold, so he has the advantage. I think he's got Diebold over a barrel here. If he just pushes Diebold to go a little bit faster than he wants to.
But how things are playing out, by the way, just 5 cars on the lead lap. McCrary, Formosa, Freeman, Diebold, and Boundy. That likely to potentially increase once the 35 has to come down. Diebold again starting to pick up. Again, Boundy, the furthest expected, maybe about 10, maybe 5 to go at the most. If he saves the gas with how big that difference is, that'd be astounding.
Yeah, I think that's an impossibility. I don't think that's even so he can't do it. I mean, Bounty's a great driver. He really is, but
and most
I don't see how you could do that.
Well, keep in mind, most of the drivers have been trying to keep it in 5th gear to save. You can almost see right now with the number, that little number, it is shifting, going on for Bounty a bit. Some drivers have mentioned that clutch and coasting with the next-gen car not as easy to necessarily even save the gas with compared to, say, the Gen 6. So think about that still. That is still something to factor 2 years later.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely interesting for sure. I mean, usually in generations past, that has been kind of the way to save gas is just to kind of throw it into, or, you know, put the clutch in. Just not, I didn't know that was not really as viable in this car. That's interesting.
Diebold almost seems to be getting the go button at the rate things are going. He is up 2 seconds over Freeman.
See, this doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, Freeman, like I said before, he pitted after Diebold. If anybody is getting the good to go, it should be Freeman. But now, keep in mind, now, depending on, because there's this auto fuel thing that these guys have. Did they maybe take a little less gas than they should have? Could Freeman have maybe not taken enough gas?
They better hope they didn't do that by accident in this type of race tonight.
That thing's been the bane of my existence. I'll tell you that.
Bounty's gap has gone down by a full second this time. Now he's using McCrary as a saving tool.
Coming up on 10 laps to go. And I am on the edge of my seat. Of course, I hope everybody out there watching is on the edge of their seat. These are my favorite kind of races when it comes down to gas. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, man, that's just, you know, it's just so boring to have a race that ends like that. But I think it's the most interesting thing to see because there's no way to predict it, Justin.
10 to go. It's going to be close on fuel. Diebold and Freeman looking to try and stretch gas. Bounty hoping for luck. About 2 seconds the gap and reducing fast with Depot looking to close up to the 35. Freeman is being swarmed by traffic 3 seconds back of Depot. Oh, and look at this though. Some of the others like Garrett want their laps back.
Yeah, he should be able to get it back too. I mean, I don't see why anybody would really fight him here. He does work his way back up to 6. He has got to be just heartbroken, I'd say, in that 3. I mean, he's had a really good shot to win this race and just made the wrong call when it comes to pit road.
You never know how the cautions may fly.
Yeah,
and that's
still
the
an
thing.
opportunity for that, yeah.
That's the thing, the cautions haven't flown tonight. He is still a lap down on the evening. Bounty still holding on and still somehow holding on to the tank. Under 2 seconds now, the gap. It's going down about a tenth or two per corner.
Yeah, Bounty now 43 laps into this run. That's a significant amount. That is pretty much the edge of the fuel window, so I'm really curious how much can he go further. I think it's going to be about feet here.
There he goes. There it goes. Bounty has to come down. Bounty comes down for a final pit stop with 8 laps to go, coming to 7. Roger Depot now takes the lead, looking to become a 2-time winner at Nashville and hoping to make sure the gas makes it to the end. A 4-second cushion nearly over Freeman.
Yeah, I think he might have it here. It's going to be, I think it's still going to be close for Depot as well. I don't think he's going to have enough gas to do a burnout here. This is interesting to see if he's going to be able to make it. Freeman, I think if Freeman, the way he's looking, he looks like he's saving. So if Freeman's saving, I just feel like Depot shouldn't. I don't know. This is going to be, I'm real curious. I don't want to really guess, but Matt Garrett has gotten back in front of Bounty. Now is back up into the top 5.
He's in the lucky dog spot for reference, but Cherry is also looking to take that away, possibly, depending on how things play out. Cherry amongst those running top 6. Coming up 5 laps to go, this time by. Here contacts the wall. Oh, wow. There's a look at Garrett. Garrett had been one of the most dominant drivers of the night. As you said, just didn't have the right strategy.
Yeah, but I don't think he really needs to worry too much about Matt Cherry, because Cherry's on about 8 or so laps more than Garrett is, and lap time wise, they're about 2/10 different. So I think he's in a safe place right now. He just needs to, like you said, he's a lucky dog. He really needs a caution. That's the only thing that really can help him right now, but I just do not see it happening. 4 laps to go. Once we get that white flag, that RL Productions white flag, it's going to be over.
Been 9 months, nearly to the day, since the last time Roger Depot went to victory lane in Thunderclap competition. The last time was all the way back here at the Speedway. A 152 lapper. Now with 3 laps to go, 38 machine looking to hold on the fuel tank. 5 seconds already up over Freeman, the only other driver on his strategy.
Here comes Garrett, gonna try to unlap himself here. I mean, if I was Depot, I wouldn't fight him. I'd be like, go on ahead, buddy.
No need to fight it at this point. Especially with how big that cornering difference is, with 2 laps to go. And Cherry has had an issue. Cherry is falling down the pylon, so move him out of contention for the battle. Diebold now has Garrett right behind him, fresh tires to the inside, coming up a lap and a half to go.
You see Diebold's kind of actually protecting. He was kind of protecting that spot from Garrett. I don't know if he just didn't know he was there. I definitely would not chance racing around Garrett. I'm sure Garrett's kind of hot under the collar right now, as the white flag is flying, presented by RL Productions.
One more time around for Roger Diebold. Strategy, strategy, and more strategy, the talk of stage 3. But Roger Diebold looking for one more strong set of corners. Roger Diebold for the first time in 9 months, coming through turn 4, will take the checker flag and win in the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated. his second win ever at Nashville, and a 5th career victory for Diebold.
Wow. What a story. What a story. Last time this guy won was at this same racetrack. Hasn't won all season long, and he wins in spectacular fashion to close out the regular season. And everybody coming up and giving him congratulations. You see Bounty, they know he deserves this win. He's come close so many times this season, Justin.
And able to come through tonight, indeed. Roger Diebold, your race winner here in Thunderclap action. I think he's out of gas.
I don't think he's going to have enough fuel to do a burnout here. Let's see.
He's not moving.
They're going to do one for him.
Bounty, I think, is celebrating in his place. So is Greg McCarty. So is everybody else.
They're doing the burnout for him. Isn't that nice?
So everybody's saying it's burnout time along the front straightaway in an eventful one to close out the regular season. The Last Chance Square Dance presented by TLC Incorporated goes the way of Roger Diebold, his first victory since late of season 2. John Freeman, also on the same strategy, finished 6 seconds back, however, despite pitting 3-4 laps later than Diebold. Scott Famosa, Mark McCrary, and Matt Garrett rounding out the top 5, the only drivers in the lead lap. Bounty, McConey, Cherry, Montgomery, and Clapper, your top 10.
Of course, 11th place Josh Koiner, 12th place TJ Lee, 13th to 79 of Anthony Burleson, 14th Damian Neeson, 15th Brandon Schumann, 16th I do believe Darren Dennis, 81 machine, 17th Noah Rainwater, 18th Kyle Newkirk, 19th to 71 of Gosselin. Of course, heartbreaking night tonight, of course, rounding out the top 20, our pole sitter is Jordan Durasic in the 6th machine.
Let's look top to bottom at your race order here tonight in what was a fuel saving strategy masterclass for some. Some drivers on that 2-stop strategy made it as far as 46 laps. Joshua Corner, confirmation coming in also, was on that strategy. So as the drivers get themselves situated here, first things first, real quick, what can you say about tonight?
Great race. Suspense. I'd say that. If I could use one word to describe this race, suspense would definitely be the word. Wouldn't you say, Justin?
Suspense, drama, being able to execute on strategy, going to be something to consider. But still, you have to keep in mind, you had to be able to be committed to the strategy. You couldn't just abort or change midstream, so to speak. So, as we look towards the post-race coverage, Scott Famosa finished in 3rd tonight in the 80 machine. Scott, how was the car?
The car was good. It was decent tonight. I had some electrical issues in the first segment that really put me a lap down, and I never could really get back up there. I had to play the fuel mileage game, and well, it paid off. Got a top 3. I'm happy with that.
I mean, on the bright side, you kept your spot on the track. Downside, you weren't scored for a lap. So how did that really impact your race strategy, knowing you lost a lap because of that issue?
Well, I knew I had to drive the thing really, really hard in the second segment. I think I burnt my tires up, and then just kind of put me behind the 8 ball and just struggled to get back up there. Man, track position is everything in this league. You cannot have anything like that happen to you and expect to have a shot at winning. I felt like I might have had a shot at winning that first stage. I was right on the 67 right there when it happened. And but I mean, overall, stayed out of trouble all night long. Just kept the car clean.
Kept the car clean, got the run needed. After all, you're amongst those in the points lock positions for the postseason. So you're now a part of the Forming 16. Now it's the question. Forming 16 races, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen. Your favorite track on that schedule and why?
I'd probably have to say Indianapolis. I really like the layout of Indy. Feel pretty good about that. Watkins Glen's going to be a week. I'm going to be very weak there. I'm going to struggle to get a top 15 finish there. Road courses is not. And I think Milwaukee, I'm not real sure. We'll have to see on Milwaukee. But as far as the best track, I would have to say Indy.
Well, congratulations on the run tonight, Scott. A very strategy-filled race. You pick up third.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I want to thank my team owner, Alan Marshall. Got to meet up with him this week, actually, at the Nashville Ally 400 in Nashville. I want to thank my teammate, Mark McQuarrie, Speed Kings, All Out Towing, my new teammate, Darren Dennis, that we all help each other. Thank you guys for what y'all do.
Again, that's Scott Formosa coming away in third spot tonight. Second spot tonight going to John Freeman, unofficially at the Cup Series champion without the start tonight of Ryan Truex. John's with Brian.
John Freeman, definitely fantastic run here. You and Debo were on similar strategies. You did, of course, wait a few laps to pit. What happened? Why did Debo get away from you? It seemed like you were starting to battle with him quite a bit towards the end of the race, but then all of a sudden the gap started increasing until about 6 seconds. Did you not get enough fuel? What happened there, bud?
Well, I honestly don't have a clutch at the moment, so I kind of just had to use fifth gear most of that run to just try to save all the fuel I could, not shift, and see how far I could make it. I didn't decide to go the fuel route until I did the math with the help of JWoww or Jordan Jurassic with about 17 to go in the run before that. So at that point, not having a clutch and really, I haven't really practiced the whole, turning off the ignition in the corners and all that. So popped it in fifth gear and was riding. And I think the difference was, man, I cooked that right front off, riding in fifth gear, just trying to force the car to turn. I caught him from way back because he was saving with that, the way he was saving. But at the end, he just had way more tire left in the car and did a fantastic job. And there's nothing I had for him there at the end. He was great. He was super good on the super long runs after about 30 laps all night. So
yeah, it definitely was. And I know that's really saying something that you say that, just considering you're usually really good on the long runs as well. Now, you started this race in 17th. Why did you do that? Was that kind of just was that on purpose? It seems like you have a penchant for starting in the back of the field and trying to go to the front.
No, if you ask my teammates, it's just a lack of qualifying talent half the time. I actually had a really good lap going. It was going to be a low 9, but as you guys know, if you have any contact with anything, it doesn't allow your lap. And I got a little loose and I had to overcorrect off the exit of 4 and just slightly grazed the wall, maybe by half an inch, and it disqualified my lap. So I just had to. It was nerve-wracking starting in the back, especially knowing Garrett was towards the front. Only coming in, I think it was 18 points ahead of him. I knew I had to get up there and get all the points I could. That was stressful.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure it was for sure. Of course, you are, I do believe, going to be locked into the round of 16 here. Of course, the forming 16, I should say. We're going to have an off week next week, of course, but we're going to be coming back with Milwaukee, and then after that, Indianapolis and Watkins Glen. Which track are you looking forward to the most out of those three?
Probably Watkins Glen. I really enjoy running road courses and anything like IMSA cars, LMP2s, pretty much anything you can think of, GT3s. So I really love road courses. That's the other two I have not even been to. Indy, I think I've maybe ran a race there, like when I first started iRacing 2.5 years ago. But Milwaukee, I don't even own yet, so I'm gonna have to probably buy that and get some, some laps in, obviously. So Watkins Glen would have to be the one I can at least say I'm looking forward to.
All right, well, definitely, yeah, Milwaukee flat track. You're gonna have to definitely get used to that one. It's a doozy, but definitely look forward to seeing what you can bring to us at Watkins Glen. Thanks for your time, John. Who can we give a shout out to after your second place finish here tonight?
Yes, sir. Obviously, my teammates, Jordan Jurassic, Matt Montgomery, and Glenn Grimm, Thomas Kohick, and everyone else back at the shop. Big thank you to DNKmanagement.net for being on the car all year long and committing their sponsorship all year. You can check them out at that DNKmanagement.net for any rental or buying property needs. To Mina Peach for also being a associate sponsor and supporting me this season. And just a big thank you to you guys as always. Y'all put on a great broadcast, and hopefully we can continue this momentum into Milwaukee in 2 weeks.
All right, man. Well, happy 4th of July as well, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Alrighty, that was John Freeman, our second place finisher. Back to you, Justin, I do believe, with our winner.
Yes, indeed. Roger Diebold picking up his first victory since last time in Nashville. Back-to-back victories at Nashville Superspeedway. Roger, how tight was that fuel mileage in that car tonight?
I mean, it's making me sweat a little bit. I was looking at it at the beginning of that last run there, and it was showing me if I was going balls to the wall, I was going to be like 4 laps short. So I was kind of cruising around, and I think what really helped me out was the fact that I was cruising around and taking it easy. It saved me enough gas and it saved me enough tires that everybody kind of backed up to me, and they were all saying they needed to pit one more time, and it's like, let's try to stretch it and see what happens. And then I got to about half a lap ish within making it on gas, so I just put the hammer back down and hope for the best.
It was very intriguing to see that difference too between yourself and Freeman on the speed. When did you get exactly that green light to get that confidence down to be able to say, okay, now I can stretch this?
The first half of the run, I was definitely watching my mileage very closely, and I was trying different things, like leaving it in 5th gear to see if that would help. Going back to shifting between 4th and 5th, leaving it in 4th. I was trying a couple different things for a few laps just to see what the mileage was going to do, and nothing was really making a difference. So then I started clutching it in the corners and clutched it for probably about 8 laps or so just to get a little bit more comfortable. And then about 10-ish to go, I was within half a lap of making it, and I was like, damn, I can coast from there. So we'll just we'll lay the hammer down and hopefully cross the line first.
One of the 7 drivers locked in via the wins in a part of the forming 16. Now you have some confidence built up, or rather some momentum built up here. In turn, Milwaukee, Indianapolis, Watkins Glen. Next up, that momentum. How does that going to fare out, and what's your favorite track on that skid?
I think that Glen's my favorite, to be honest. Man, I don't know. I got a new wheel and pedals. TJ Lee there in our group here, he was like, man, you got to upgrade your stuff. So I was like, yeah, you know what? Let's do it. So I ordered and was playing around with it for the last couple days, and it made a huge difference to the feel of the car and the attitude and how I drive it and everything. So it took me a little bit to get used to for the last couple days, but I think we got a way better shot now that I can actually feel what the car's doing instead of just guessing.
So with that, your first victory since last September, about 9 months, having a breakthrough last time by at the win victory circle was here at Nashville too. Back-to-back wins, Roger. Any shout out?
Oh yeah, big shout out to the pool jerks as usual back home. Glad I could finally get the win in the old 38 special here. Man, I'm booking a cruise, man. We've been talking about it for a week now, and I'm doing it. I'm going online to book a nice cruise this off season. Thanks to the rest of the family that watches. I know they're all over the country watching me run this deal. My friends that all watch, and thanks to you guys in the booth, and Justin White, Justin Clapper, Jake, and them keeping an eye on us and whatnot and putting this whole deal together.
Well, congratulations once again, Roger, on the victory. Your first in about 9 months, your first of the season.
Thank you. Man, it feels good. I'm going to have a beer.
Roger Diebold going to have some libations as congratulate him, John Freeman, as well as Count from also being the top 3. Take time. Speak with us here in post-race coverage here on Grid Vision. Couple things to know in regards to the standings. No changes amongst those in the top 16 entering the night. Rainwater, indeed, the last in. Montgomery, Clapper, and Truex also in via points. That means Burleson, Vile, Leahy, Tomlinson, and the rest of those drivers out and not in the forming 16. Also, just received note, a regular season champion has been officially given. That has gone this season to John Freeman, who was the driver who picked up full-time runs. All 16 races counted. Bounty had the higher total but did not have more starts, for those curious, in the end. So Freeman picks up the regular season championship for the Cup cars. Is the clarification the Cup car. So with that, Brian, we get a week off, but the Forming 16 has a busy time. Milwaukee, the Brickyard, the Glen. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of very different tracks. I mean, every track we're going into the next 3 races is vastly different than the one before. I mean, Milwaukee is a short track, very flat track, so it's definitely going to benefit. A lot of guys don't seem like they're looking forward to that one very much. Indianapolis, of course, that's a classic. The Brickyard, very interested to see how that looks. Haven't seen a race there in quite a long time, so haven't seen the oval, I guess, in action in quite a while. So I expect that one's going to be fun. Watkins Glen, that was actually the most popular one we heard of when we asked, what track the guys were looking forward to. Watkins Glen, that one took the majority, so I guess that's the one we should look forward to as well. Of course, haven't seen a whole lot of road course racing here in the Thunderclap Series, but that's definitely going to be an interesting one for sure.
Going to be a very intriguing one, absolutely, when we get to that road course race to see which drivers come out on top here. But on that note, it's time to get ready to say goodbye. I'd like to thank you for tuning in for tonight's action here on Grid Vision. To keep an eye on the Thunderclap iRacing Series presented by TLC Incorporated. For my co-announcer Brian Britt, for Austin Darby Shara and Justin Prince saying so long, enjoy the rest of your evening. You've been watching Grid Vision for the regular season finale for Thunderclap, the Last Chance Square Dance, presented by TLC Incorporated. Congratulations to Roger Diebold, your winner from Nashville.